Hello guys, and welcome back. What I have here for this review is a Citizen. This is the only Citizen watch I have in my possession at the moment, and I have to say it is really quite an interesting one. This is an EcoDrive Perpetual Calendar Chronograph Alarm Atomic Time watch. Now that is a handful of features, but they shorten it to Perpetual Chrono AT, and the model is AT4010-50E. Nice and short. I really like how Citizen and Seiko keep it short. Now, the MSRP for this is $735, but really you can get this on Amazon and other retailers for just over $400. The last time I checked, which was a little bit ago, but I don't think it'll change. Now here we have the Citizen quartz caliber. It's the 650 caliber, which is mainly featuring an atomic timekeeping as the flagship feature of this particular movement. Now the atomic timekeeping is only available in USA and Europe. It comes from a signal tower in the middle of the States and one in Germany, I believe. I'm in Australia. There is no practical advantage of having the atomic timekeeping feature, but I got this because of other reasons, out of interest really. It's got solar with 6 months power reserve. It's got a 60-minute chronograph, but whole seconds counting. There's no there's not 1/5 of a second or quarter of a second. It just counts in whole seconds. It is a perpetual calendar, so meaning that it is aware of leap years and months, so you never have to set the date. And it does have an alarm. In terms of the chronograph, the use of it is somewhat awkward. I'll demonstrate some of the features here. So the top button actually brings the second hand toward what is the daylight saving indicator. So you can see inside of the bezel there is a on and off. So really that just means the daylight saving is off. The bottom button makes the 2 o'clock subdial go from the day indicator to the charge indicator. Now right now it's a bit blocked by an hour hand, but it's in the 3 out of the 4 charge indicator. So it's a little bit emptied out to maybe 3 to 4 months power supply, but still plenty. As you look at the dial there, the 10 o'clock subdial is a 24-hour marker. So yes, it is nearly 1 a.m. right now. Again, the nice silver steel marker for the days on the 2 o'clock subdial, and at the bottom is actually what they call a mode subdial. As you can see from it, it's now pointing at A-TM. That's alternative time zone, because I'm not in any of the selected time zones that the watch keeps by default. And as you can see at the bottom, those are Los Angeles, Denver, Chicago, New York City, and London. But it works. You can put it on alternative and set it to whatever time zone you're in, and if it still has the atomic time, you will have that. If not, you can still correct it if it goes off, and it went off within what you expect for a quartz. I think it went fast by about 30 seconds over the last 8 months or so. So pretty damn good. Now back to the chronograph. How do you work it? To choose the chronograph, you have to pull the crown out to the first position and then turn it. Let's have a look. That's not where I want to turn. I want to go back to chronograph. So as you can see, I've skipped past the alarm at the 12 o'clock position of the 6 o'clock subdial and went to the CHR, which is the chronograph mode. So right now it's in chronograph, and I can push it back to the 0 position and it's ready to go. Now, partly annoying thing is that the chronograph is only a 60-minute chronograph, and the counter for 60 minutes is actually the 2 o'clock subdial. You can see where inside the days there, it's got a 60-minute marker there. To start the chronograph, it's the usual position of that 2 o'clock button. Right, stop, reset. That's pretty much it. And I'll just put it back to where it was before. Oh, not that. Alternative time zone is what I want, and that's where I want it to be. So that's it, back to the current time. Okay, the alarm is set by moving the mode button. Again, you do that by going to the 1 position and then turning it to alarm, and then you can set the alarm. I'm not going to let it go all the way because it's rather takes a rather long time to get to the 8 a.m. alarm that I've set, but I'll let you hear the sound, which is demonstrated like this. Oh, not quite yet. It has to. There we go. That's just on off for the alarm. I'll just let it go all the way to 8 o'clock and we can hear the sound of the alarm, which is not very loud. I'll let you judge for yourself as you hear it shortly. Okay, so that's it. Just going to put it back to the time zone now. Alternative time. Okay, so that's the alarm you have there. We've gone through the power reserve indicator. We know it's a perpetual calendar, and we know it's atomic timekeeping. The case here is 42 millimeters, and the material is titanium. Now this model comes in a model that is also nearly identical in appearance, except where the blues are. So under that button there, and that mode hand, that is red in the steel version. This is the titanium version. That's how you can tell if you know what you're looking for. It's 13 millimeters thick, and that black bezel, as I understand it, is also titanium, and it's done in a very nice sharp black with white print. It's got great looking dials, and you look at those dials. They are they all have texture. They all have that stainless steel, I believe, ring around them, and there's a texture above that where, for example, where the brand Citizen is, you can see it's got a date window at the 4 o'clock position, and it's got applied hour markers with great lume. Now I've done a separate video on the lume performance of different watches, and this did surprisingly well. The sapphire, the glass is sapphire. At this price, I think not surprising that it's sapphire. The bracelet is also titanium, but somewhat surprisingly, that lug width is about 23 millimeters. That's a bit odd, but it does taper very quickly down to 20 millimeters, so it doesn't actually look, when you look at it as a whole, it doesn't actually look that odd. Double push button clasp release, also in titanium, and an overall, a package that is extremely light. Now, why did I choose to get this? Well, a few reasons. One is titanium, very light, very comfortable. This watch weighs 100 grams or 101 grams on a precise scale. It disappears on your wrist. It's so comfortable, despite the fact that it's a 42 millimeter size. I like the dial design. I was looking for a tachymeter watch with central counting seconds, which exactly this has. And I like the functions. It's perpetual calendar. It's eco drive solar. So you never have to worry about battery change. And it's atomic time, which is cool, but not a feature that I'm going to be able to benefit from. But if you're in those areas where it does have the signal, this is pretty much perfect timekeeping. As good as your computer or your internet connected smartphone. What's not so good? What I don't like? Well, the chronograph is limited, and sadly, I think this could have been overcome. So, the seconds are whole seconds. Why couldn't they make it, fractions of a seconds? Not sure. I think you would think you could easily build that in. The mode setting is odd. Now we saw that this is the daylight saving indicator. and this is the power reserve indicator. You know, they could have easily just incorporated those two functions into one button and make the other button, you know, the mode selector to get you into chronograph very quickly, rather than just pulling out and selecting the mode thing. A little bit awkward. And then because of the whole seconds, this tachymeter, well, it becomes a little bit for show, doesn't it? I mean, you're not really getting the, you know, the partial precision you need to use the in-between numbers. But, you know, it's there partly, I think, to make the watch look a bit more sporty, and definitely it is a sporty looking watch. And lastly, I think the lug width is disproportionate and a bit odd for 23 millimeters on a 42 millimeter case. You know, it tapers nicely, which is fine, but it means that if you want to swap it out for alternative things, it's going to be difficult. You know, 23, a little bit odd, a little bit neither here nor there. That's a wrist shot, and as I said, very, very light. You know, I think I should do a video on watch weights at some time. You know, this classifies as extremely light. My heavier watches would be easily double this weight in stainless steel. So there we have it. That's the Citizen Perpetual Chrono AT. I hope that's been quite a good look at a brand. Again, a brand I haven't done before, the only Citizen I have. Don't forget to subscribe if you want to continue receiving videos and keep up with new videos that I post, and give us a like if you enjoyed this video. Thank you again, guys, for watching, and see you next time.